I've known Ben for years and years and years, going back to, the early Tahoe days, and he was picked in the draft before me.
No one expected this from a 41-year-old quarterback. Wearing the black and gold, Aaron Rodgers stunned fans after leading the Steelers to a 27-20 upset over the Colts. But his post-game words weren't about stats, they were about legacy. Rodgers spoke directly to Ben Roethlisberger, linking Pittsburgh's championship past to a new era that might just be beginning under his command.
But a lot of respect for him and his career, what he accomplished. They won the Super Bowl in, his second year? It's pretty.
The four-time MVP acknowledged the weight of wearing the same uniform that Roethlisberger wore for 18 seasons. Roethlisberger retired after the 2021 season with 64,088 passing yards, 418 touchdowns, and 2 Super Bowl championships. His legacy remains the foundation of Pittsburgh's quarterback tradition.
As a fan of the game, because I am, Big Ben moments was a drive in the Super Bowl against Arizona, coming down and hitting Santonio right in the corner of the end zone on a beautiful pass and great toe tap. But I enjoyed watching him play over the years, because he wasn't the fastest guy, but he was hard to take down. He was always swinging that ball.
Rodgers also spoke about his favorite Roethlisberger moment during the post-game interview. One of my favorite Big Ben moments was the drive in the Super Bowl against Arizona, Rodgers recalled, coming down and hitting Santonio in the corner of the end zone on a beautiful pass with a great toe tap. I enjoyed watching him play over the years because he wasn't the fastest guy, but he was hard to take down. The reference was to Super Bowl XLIII when Roethlisberger led the Steelers to a 27-23 victory over the Arizona Cardinals. The game-winning touchdown pass to Santonio Holmes with 35 seconds remaining remains one of the most iconic plays in Super Bowl history. Holmes made the catch in the back corner of the end zone with his toes barely inbounds, securing Pittsburgh's 6th championship. Rodgers and Roethlisberger faced each other 3 times during their careers. Despite the rivalry, both quarterbacks have expressed mutual respect for each other's accomplishments throughout their careers. The victory over Indianapolis followed Rodgers throwing 17 touchdown passes through 9 games of the 2025 season. That total represents more touchdown passes than any Steelers quarterback has thrown in a single season since Roethlisberger retired. The previous high was 20 touchdown passes by Kenny Pickett across the 2023 season. Rodgers is currently on pace to throw approximately 32 touchdown passes, which would shatter Roethlisberger's franchise single-season record of 34 set in 2018. The Steelers will honor Roethlisberger again later in the 2025 season. He and former teammates Joey Porter and Maurkice Pouncey will be inducted into the Steelers Hall of Honor on December 14th. The victory improved Pittsburgh's record to 5-3 for the 2025 season. The offensive production represented a marked improvement from recent Steelers history. From 2022 to 2024, Pittsburgh struggled to replace Roethlisberger's production. Quarterbacks Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields all failed to provide sustained success. Mike Tomlin entered his 19th season as Steelers head coach in 2025. His career record stood at 188 and 110-2 entering the season. Tomlin maintained his streak of never posting a losing season, a remarkable achievement that spans his entire tenure since 2007. However, the recent playoff record presents a stark contrast. Pittsburgh has not won a playoff game since the 2016 season when they defeated Kansas City in the divisional round. The defensive performance against Indianapolis provided relief for a unit that faced criticism entering the game. The Colts managed only 20 points despite quarterback Daniel Jones starting for Indianapolis. Pittsburgh's defense recorded 6 turnovers, including 3 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries. The dominant defensive showing helped overcome a subpar offensive performance that generated just 225 total yards. Rodgers referenced the defensive effort in his comments about the victory. The defense got the elephant off their back, according to the veteran quarterback. The statement referred to recent struggles and losses to Cincinnati and Green Bay, where the Steelers allowed a combined 70 points across 2 weeks. The 6 turnovers against Indianapolis represented the most takeaways by Pittsburgh's defense in a single game since 2019. New acquisition Kyle Duggar made an immediate impact in his Steelers debut. The safety, obtained from the New England Patriots in a trade deadline deal, recorded 7 tackles and 1 pass breakup. Duggar had accumulated 376 tackles, 8 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles across 5 seasons in New England. His arrival addressed a specific need in Pittsburgh's defensive backfield that struggled against passing attacks. Roethlisberger's presence at the game connected the current roster to Pittsburgh's championship heritage. The 2005 team finished 11-5 in the regular season before winning 3 road playoff games. Pittsburgh defeated Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Denver before capturing Super Bowl XLIII with a 21-10 victory over Seattle. Roethlisberger, a rookie that season, threw for 123 yards in the championship game, while the defense and running game controlled the contest. Pittsburgh's upcoming schedule includes matchups against the Los Angeles Chargers, Washington Commanders, and Baltimore Ravens. The division race in the AFC North remains competitive, with Baltimore holding a better record through 9 weeks. The Steelers have won the AFC North title just once since 2017, finishing second or third in 4 of the previous 6 seasons. The franchise underwent major changes after their 2024 wildcard loss to Baltimore. Pittsburgh parted ways with quarterbacks Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, their starting quarterbacks from the previous season. Wide receiver George Pickens was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. The Steelers acquired DK Metcalf in the offseason to pair with Rodgers, giving Pittsburgh an elite receiving threat it lacked in recent years. Rodgers signed his 1-year deal with Pittsburgh after extended deliberations about his NFL future. Former Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger predicted on his Football and podcast that Rodgers would sign with Pittsburgh, though he believed the veteran was holding out hope for Minnesota. "I really believe that he's going to be a Steeler," Roethlisberger said in April 2025 before Rodgers officially signed. Roethlisberger also predicted that the 2025 season would be Rodgers' final year in the NFL. "I don't think he's got much more after this year," Roethlisberger stated on his podcast. "I think this might be it for him." Rodgers himself confirmed those suspicions on The Pat McAfee Show when he said he is pretty sure 2025 will be his 21st and final season. The running game contributed 112 yards on 28 attempts against Indianapolis. Jaylen Warren carried for 2 touchdowns, marking the first multi-score ground game of his career. The ground attack provided balance that prevented the Colts defense from focusing exclusively on Rodgers and the passing game. Pittsburgh ranks 18th in rushing yards per game in 2025, with adequate production to maintain offensive balance. Mike Tomlin became the longest tenured active head coach in professional sports following Greg Popovich's retirement from the San Antonio Spurs in May 2025. The distinction highlights Tomlin's remarkable stability in Pittsburgh despite the playoff struggles. The Steelers declined to trade Tomlin to the Chicago Bears in January 2025, with owner Art Rooney too confirming no plans to fire the head coach. The criticism of Tomlin's playoff record has intensified following 8 consecutive postseason losses. Since the team's 2016 AFC Championship appearance, the Steelers have not recorded a single postseason victory. Tomlin now holds the second longest playoff win drought among active coaches, trailing only the record previously held by former Cincinnati coach Marvin Lewis, who went 16 years without a playoff victory. Rodgers threw his touchdown pass to Freiermuth in the second quarter to give Pittsburgh a 17-7 lead. The 12-yard connection came 2 plays after linebacker Peyton Wilson intercepted Daniel Jones. Wilson's interception set up the Steelers in the red zone, allowing Rodgers to capitalize with the scoring strike. Freiermuth finished with 4 receptions for 38 yards and the touchdown. The Steelers' defense dominated the turnover battle against Indianapolis. Defensive end T.J. Watt recorded a strip sack of Jones in the second quarter that shifted momentum in Pittsburgh's favor. Linebacker Peyton Wilson intercepted Jones twice, while cornerback Joey Porter Jr. added another interception. The defensive performance represented a return to form for a unit that built its reputation on creating turnovers.
When I retire in 4 years, I'm going to go into the Pack Hall of Fame. May or may not get my number retired. If they approached me about it, I probably would.
Aaron Rodgers just flipped the entire NFL script again, Weeks after telling everyone he'd retire a Packer, new reports say something completely different is happening behind the scenes. The 41-year-old wasn't supposed to have another chapter, but insiders claim his next move could change everything for him and for the Steelers.
Rodgers avoids the sack, deep downfield, caught at the 35-yard line and going all the way to the end.
Aaron Rodgers stood at a crossroads just weeks ago, publicly stating his intention to retire as a Green Bay Packer after this season. The narrative seemed set in stone for the 41-year-old quarterback who signed with Pittsburgh for what everyone assumed would be his final campaign. However, NFL sources are now telling CBS Sports a different story, one that could completely change the trajectory of both Rodgers' career and the Steelers' future plans. The Pittsburgh Steelers signed Rodgers in June 2025 after determining their quarterback situation required immediate attention. Mike Tomlin had cycled through Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph following Ben Roethlisberger's retirement without finding a solution. The acquisition of a four-time MVP represented a significant departure from the organization's typical approach of developing younger quarterbacks. Rodgers signed a one-year contract worth $12.5 million with performance incentives that could push the total value to $17 million. The deal included no guaranteed money beyond the base salary, reflecting both his age and injury history. Pittsburgh structured the contract to maintain salary cap flexibility for the 2026 offseason, anticipating that Rodgers would retire after the season. Through 7 games of the 2025 season, Rodgers has thrown 16 touchdown passes against 5 interceptions. His completion percentage of 66.8% ranks 13th among qualifying quarterbacks. His passer rating of 105.0 places him 10th in the league, ahead of younger quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Herbert. The statistical production has exceeded expectations for a 41-year-old quarterback coming off major injury. The Steelers hold a 4-3 record through 7 games despite consecutive losses to Baltimore and Green Bay. Pittsburgh's offensive output has been inconsistent, averaging 21.4 points per game, which ranks 18th in the NFL. However, Rodgers' ability to protect the football and make critical throws in crucial moments has kept the team competitive in every contest. Cameron Hayward, the Steelers' veteran defensive tackle, has been vocal about Rodgers' performance this season. According to Yardbarker, Hayward stated that Rodgers needs to keep playing and should have a job as long as he wants. The comments from a respected team leader carry significant weight within the organization and throughout the league. Hayward has been with the Steelers since being drafted in the first round of the 2011 NFL Draft. He has made 6 Pro Bowl appearances and earned 3 first-team All-Pro selections during his 14 seasons in Pittsburgh. His perspective on quarterback play comes from years of facing elite passers in practice and games. The endorsement of Rodgers' continued play reflects observations of daily preparation and performance that outsiders cannot see. NFL sources have told CBS Sports that Rodgers might not retire after the 2025 season if his strong play continues. The sources indicated that internal discussions within the Steelers organization have begun regarding the possibility of bringing Rodgers back for 2026. These conversations represent a significant shift from the presumed one-year arrangement that was understood when the contract was signed in June. The financial considerations of extending Rodgers beyond 2025 present complications for Pittsburgh's front office. The team has approximately $42 million in projected salary cap space for the 2026 season before accounting for re-signings and new contracts. Rodgers would likely command at least $15 million for another season, potentially more if his production remains at current levels. The commitment would limit flexibility to address other roster needs, particularly at wide receiver and offensive line. The quarterback market for 2026 presents limited options for teams seeking immediate solutions. The 2026 NFL draft class is considered weak at the position, with no consensus top-tier prospects. Free agency will feature several quarterbacks, but most will be retreads or aging veterans similar to Rodgers. The scarcity of quality options increases Rodgers' value to Pittsburgh if he maintains current production. Aaron Rodgers was drafted by the Green Bay Packers with the 24th overall pick in the 2005 NFL Draft out of the University